right, everybody, welcome on in here on this Friday night. Zac Gallen is not going to be a San Diego Padre, as I think a lot of people thought once we saw Chris Bassett go to the Baltimore Orioles on that 1 year deal around 18 mil. Zac Gallen, he ends up signing back with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I think the Cubs, maybe that was the multi year offer that was on the table. I've seen reporting that there was at least one multi year offer on the table, and Gallen decides to go back, take that 1 year deal. He can have a great year, let's say, with the D-backs, and he goes out and gets a lot more money on the free agent market. And we've seen guys do that. We've seen position players do that. We've seen guys get 1 year deals with opt-outs, and then they opt out after 1 year. Bregman, for example, was just with the Red Sox for 1 year. But just to get you the details on Zac Gallen, 1 year, $22.025 million deal. Around 14 mil of that is deferred with the D-backs. Salary matches the qualifying offer that Gallen rejected in November. So there you go. I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you're the D-backs, right? Like, of course you want Gallen back, but you're going to offer him the qualifying offer. And if the market comes back to you, then you just say, hey, we'll offer you the same thing that we offered you before that you declined. And in the D-backs case, like, that's a win for them because they don't have to commit long-term to Zac Gallen. And they can say, hey, we just already offered you this, and now you have to come crawling back to us to accept this. So, the D-backs, I think they got better not because they're just bringing back Gallen, but I think Gallen's going to have a better year than he did this past season. So that makes the D-backs better. And they've got an interesting team. Obviously, Ketel Marte continues to be an Arizona Diamondback. They got Geraldo Perdomo, Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll, Hammett Bone. We'll see how long he's out. Obviously, they acquired Nolan Arenado. They've got some interesting players there. It's an interesting group. I would right now put them behind the Padres and put them probably a little behind the Giants, but it's very close between those two. Obviously, the Dodgers are in a totally different category. And then the Rockies are also in a totally different category, in the wrong category that you want to be in. Dick Monfort and his low payroll, not trying to win Colorado Rockies. Okay, so as for the Padres here, and welcome on into this live show. I'll get to the comments. If you want to join the show, click the link that's pinned up at the top of the chat if you want to give your thoughts here on the show. But as for the Padres' perspective on this, not surprised that he's not a Padre. When Chris Bassett signed with the Orioles for what he signed on a 1-year deal, I was like, Gallen's probably going to sign for this around the same. Gallen's younger, so could get more than Chris Bassett, and he ends up getting a little bit more. If you can't give 1 year, 18 mil to Chris Bassett, then why should we expect the Padres to be able to go sign Zac Gallen? So I was trying to lower my expectations. I wanted Gallen, obviously. Like, that was the one guy I think left where I'm like, well, Scherzer too, but Scherzer I think might sign during the year. Where I'm like, Verlander goes back to the Tigers. Okay, this is the guy. If we're going to pay anyone, pay this guy. Now, after this, I'm not paying for Giolito. I'm not paying for someone like Michael Kopech. I'm just not paying for those guys. If Max Scherzer comes along on the right deal, then I'd sign him. But other than that, I am waiting for players to come in and sign minor league deals. That's what you're going to get from the Padres from now on, I think. Because why, at this point, why would you sign someone and give them a major league deal and, put them in the rotation when you already have competition? You already have Marco Gonzalez, Matt Waldron, Tristan McKenzie, Kyle Hart, maybe. Johnny Brito's probably more of a bullpen piece. You have guys that are competing for that fifth rotation spot. Randy Vasquez, let's say he's the 4. You have guys already competing. Why would you bring someone in who we can't say is obviously better than these options that you have competing? Like, if the Padres signed German Marquez right now, are you more confident in him and you're guaranteeing him a roster spot over someone like Matt Waldron, who is a unique guy and he's out of options? Or are you going to have him compete for a starting rotation spot? Are you going to have John Gray compete for a rotation spot? Are you going to give him a guaranteed deal? Griffin Canning, are you going to guarantee him a deal? Like, after you lose out on Gallen and Bassett and Verlander, like, Scherzer's another one that I would pay him, but Giolito I think is an injury risk, and how much money is he going to cost? His market value is around 20 mil according to Spot Track. So I'm just looking at it and I'm like, all right, it's going to be minor league deals. Give Patrick Corbin a minor league deal. Give Wade Miley a minor league deal. Give Nestor Cortez, maybe not him, but give Zach Littell. He's probably going to have to be a major league deal, but is it worth it to go spend 6-7 mil on a starter when you could go acquire a starter before the trade deadline if you need one for that money? And that guy's been healthy for the first half of the year, and you've seen some sample size from him, where these guys are some question marks. And I feel like it would be a situation where the Padres are, if they really wanted some of these guys, wouldn't you go out and already pay for them? And sure, it's a business and you're trying to win, right? You're trying to squeeze these guys. You're trying to pay them the least amount of money as possible. But if you really wanted John Gray, wouldn't you just go give him the money? If it's 6-7 mil, wouldn't you just go do that to German Marquez at this point? Or do they not even have that much money to spend? So what seems like to me is that it's going to be more of how Kevin Acee was talking about in a recent article about how Zac Gallen likely not going to be that guy, which he wasn't. He ended up being right on that. And it's probably likely going to be someone that they're going to wait on and get on a minor league deal, which at this point, I think, that's what we've got to expect and that's what we got to accept. Because we've reached the point of, dreaming about guys and having them be in this rotation. I don't think anyone's dreaming about having Alex Cobb in the rotation or having John Gray or German Marquez or Tyler Anderson dreaming about having them in the rotation. Would it make them better? Sure, give them another option, but that's not Chris Bassitt. That's not Zac Gallen. That's not Justin Verlander. That's not Max Scherzer. So, yeah. Maybe some would still want Zach Littell, but to be honest, at this point, I'd probably just rather have the Padres bulk up on some starting pitching depth, guys that are willing to go out there and compete for a job. Do they want to compete? If they want to compete, great. Love to have another competitor on the roster and on the 40-man or in El Paso, right? But at this point, if they're demanding a major league deal, then it might not be the place for them. Just looking at the situation. All right, before getting to the chat, shout out to the great partners of the show, Gaglione Bros, famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. Their main location is on Friars Road, just down the road from Snapdragon Stadium. They're inside Petco Park as well, section 124. Best cheesesteaks in San Diego, so make sure you check them out. Their full menu, again, is at that Friars Road location. Link is in the description there. All right, let's get to the chat, see what you guys are thinking here on this Friday night. I figured because of how late it is, just wanted to go live, get it out there to you on YouTube. For the podcast, obviously, it will be uploaded here shortly. But yeah, let's see what you guys are thinking. Irie says it's going to be last minute surprise like Nick Pivetta. But who's the Nick Pivetta that's out there on this market right now? Would that be Giolito? Would that be Frankie Montas? Would that be John Gray? Would that be Tyler Anderson? German Marquez? Like who would that be? Because Pivetta's probably not, I'm not talking about now, because of course he's better now, but going into last year, he'd probably still be better than a lot of these guys. And obviously they gave him a major league deal, but like Nick Pivetta, that's a veteran pitcher, solidified himself in the big leagues. You could say that about Tyler Anderson. You could say that about German Marquez and John Gray, but I mean, based on their market value, that's probably more than what the Padres want to pay them at this point. So another question, it's brought up here by Ari. I just wish that we would have addressed the power and slugging more, because that is the true Achilles heel for us in the playoffs. Yes, but I would make the point that I've made previously. If the Padres are going to win, regardless of who they would pick up, even if they pick up Rhys Hoskins, they're going to win because their core players show up in the postseason. Their top of the lineup shows up in the postseason. And that didn't happen last year. That didn't happen in the 24 scoreless innings in 24, So I get the point, but the big guys here already on the long-term deals, they're just going to have to step up anyway. Now, we can move to because Gallen's gone off the board, like, do they pivot to Hoskins and spending the money on Hoskins? How much money do the Padres have to spend? That's obviously a question. If you look at the bats, are the bats that are out there, like the first base type bats, are they better than the starting pitching bats? Wilmer Flores, would you rather have Wilmer Flores and give him a deal and give minor league deals to pitchers? Ty France is out there, Dom Smith, but I feel like Dom Smith might be a minor league deal guy. So really it's Rhys Hoskins, it's Max Scherzer. Like, those are the two where I'm like, yeah, I'll give you guys major league deals. Ray says, Ben, I have a starting pitcher in mind, but you told me to stop mentioning him. I noticed others have since mentioned him, but you didn't tell these others to stop mentioning him. Anyone care to guess who? I'm guessing you're going to say Trevor Bauer. No other team has signed him. The Padres, you're not signing him. Talk about a distraction. And sorry, for bats, I forgot to mention Castellanos. He obviously just got released yesterday. That's a guy that I'm willing to take the risk on. He hasn't done Trevor Bauer stuff, right? I take the chance. If he doesn't do things you want him to do, if he's a bad clubhouse guy, then you can just knock him out. It's $780,000 or whatever it's going to be. It's the league minimum. The Phillies released him, so no trade has to happen. And the Phillies are going to take on the rest of the $20 million that the Padres don't pay. So that means they'll be taking on 19 plus mil of Castellanos. It's a low risk deal if you're the Padres, so I would do it. Let's see. Padres are broke. Maybe have $3 or $4 million to spend. Yeah, I don't know how much money they have to spend. James says, so Gallen to Arizona and we get a show. Yeah, because that was like the one guy, the one pitcher left that I think people were trying to, and myself included, I try to have some hope, trying to hang on to, like, hey, we missed out on Bassett, but Gallen's still there. The tweets out there that the Padres are a fit for Gallen, might be interested in Gallen. And it's late, so I didn't want to put a video out there late. I might as well go live and talk about it. I see David wants to join the show. David, how's it going, man?
Going good. It's been a long time since I've been on here. I don't remember the last time I joined the show.
Yeah, at
But
some point, but thanks for coming on.
I'm not gonna be here long. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on Padres spring training and like us going into the season and stuff. Like your predictions, basically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Dodgers are in a different category. They're not on planet Earth. I have a second in the division. I think the Giants are right there. And right now I'd put the Padres at probably around 87 wins, 85 to 87. I'm saying 87 with probably another bat they get, hopefully another starter in depth there. You would think that guys are going to be healthy. You can say health about any team, though, except the Dodgers. They'll still find a way to win the division. But yeah, so I think this team can still be a playoff team. Some aren't as high as I am on this team, but I think DSG the other day when he came on, he was saying 91 wins. And if we're factoring in what Preller's going to do before the trade deadline, which is make the team better, because that's what he does every year, then maybe, but I'm tempering expectations a little bit, and I'm saying probably 87 wins. What about you?
I'm kind of like in the middle, because I'm pretty sure the last 2 years we had Shield, we were kind of like in like the mid 80s, like low 80s, mid 80s, kind of like win total range is predicted. But with Mike Chilton, like he liked to do the small ball stuff, and that gave us those extra wins. So like we can get like to what 92, 90. So I don't know if Craig Stammen and this new coaching staff can I don't know. They probably can, but I don't trust them yet enough to do like what Mike Schilt did and be able to like give us those like extra wins just by playing small ball and playing like sound defense and stuff. Like I think they can, but I have to see it first because like I don't know how to feel about this new coaching staff yet because it's very interesting situation.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I feel a certain way. Like I feel like Craig Stammen's going to get off to a good start, but we haven't seen him manage yet. I'm just judging it off of Players respect him. Players like him. Stammen seems like he knows what he's talking about. He seems like he's someone that will hold people accountable, according to players that have talked to the media that know him. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm curious what Manny's going to say because Manny hasn't spoken to the media yet. What does he think about Stammen? Um, Stammen's personality and would he hold players accountable and all that? As for the small ball stuff, I don't know about his strategy there. Like, I think he's not going to be as far down that road as Schilt was, but I think he's still going to use it because I think he's a mix of the new and old school. Like, I think he played in the big leagues for a long time. He has respect for Mike Schilt. Like, he has some of those things, but I think him being a players I think will be more comfortable coming up and talking to him about, hey, we're not comfortable doing this, or why are we doing this? And then maybe Stammen's mind will change a little bit. This isn't what you talked about, but like Campy, for example, it seems like they're going to give Campy a real opportunity to be the backup catcher. Could they have spent $1 million on someone else to go get someone? Yeah, but they're sticking with Campy at the moment. And so little things like that where Stammen has a different viewpoint on it than Schilt did. Having Steven Susan Jr. as the hitting coach, like what does he think about situational baseball? He talked to the media the other day and he was talking about how, essentially, I'm not quoting him, but they're going to be adjusting to the game and how they're going to, be with the offense. It's not all going to be about power. But it can be, when the situation calls for it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting about how they do small ball. I think we can guarantee it's not going to be as much as it was with Mike Schilt. But if the situation calls for it, the situation calls for it. Like, I don't want to hear fans, moaning about a bunt when, let's say it's a tie game and it's the 9th inning and you're trying to go just win the game and you have a runner on second base with nobody out and you got the bottom of the order up at the plate and you're trying to turn it over to the top. Yeah, bunting makes sense in that situation. So I think it's a situational thing, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and getting to Campy, because I was gonna get to that. I so badly want to see him do anything at the major league level. Like, I know he's shown glimpses, but I want to see him actually do something. Because like for me currently, I'm also like an athlete. It feels good when the person in charge, like the coach, the manager, whatever, literally tells you to your face, it's like, I'm gonna give you this chance. I'm gonna give you this leash. Don't mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I so badly want Campy to not mess this up because this is his chance. Like Craig Stammen, he's not giving him the full keys because we up for Means a starter, but like Campy Sano, please do something. Like, I need to see something from you because if this doesn't work out, I don't know what you're gonna do. This is your one chance. You better do something with it.
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have any options left. Like, this is the year. And if he gets that second catcher spot, which I expect to happen at this point, and, it's a couple months in and he's not doing it offensively, and maybe even if he's not doing it defensively, like if pitchers aren't comfortable throwing to him, then he's not going to be on the roster. That's just what it is because defensively and that relationship with the pitchers, like that's more important than what you do offensively with the lineup that they have, I think. So, yeah, I mean, like Fermin, for example, he's the number one. He's going to be hitting ninth, So, really, defensively, that's the priority. The communication, the game planning, the preparation. So, the leadership, like, what is that going to look like? And so, yeah, this is Campy's opportunity, but it's something that I'm excited for because I've been waiting for that. There's been seasons where he's played a good amount of games, but it's still like when you look at the end of the season, you look back and it's like that still didn't feel like consistent playing time. And it didn't feel like he got a real shot. Or there were injuries after that playing time. And it's like, well, what would have it looked like if he got some more at bats and he didn't get hurt? Would the numbers have been there or would the numbers have looked worse? And, so it's going to be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, and getting to the rest of the team, it's I mean, I can't put my finger on if I think the players are gonna if this team is gonna be good or not. Because everyone talks about, oh, we need more power, oh, we need more power. That's true. But it's like, how is that how are we just gonna make that happen? Like, I know the ballpark we play at, it makes it kind of mostly impossible to hit home runs in, especially at night. But it's just like that issue of like just have more power. Like it's not that simple. Like I don't know how we're gonna fix that because like I wasn't able to watch all of the wild card games because of like the times and stuff. But when I looked back, the two games that we lost, I don't think well Merrill hit a home run, but besides that, I don't think we scored any runs. And it's like it's not just about the power. It's like can this offense be consistent? Because at times we're hot, and then at times it's frustrating watching Tatis swing on a slider 18 feet outside the zone, or like heaven forbid watching Merrill swing at a fastball 18 inches above the zone. It's like it's very frustrating, and like I hope Souza Jr. can give us this consistency because it gets to a point where it's like, yes, we need more power, but at this point, I'll just take us being a consistent offense and scoring runs anyway. Because you can't go into a wild card series and score 0 runs or 1 run combined in the 2 games you lost. Like we didn't the third game, we didn't score a run until the ninth inning where Merrill hit a solo home run. That can't happen. You can't. That just can't happen.
No, I agree. Yeah, and how are we going to get that more power? It's from the guys that are in the lineup producing more power. It's from Jackson Merrill not having injuries. I don't know how much the concussion affect things. Luis Ariz with the Giants was saying the other day that that really affected things when he had his concussion. But it's guys like that being better. It's having Ramon Laureano the entire season. I don't know how much production you're going to get offensively from the catching position, but maybe that'll be an upgrade. It's Tatis being healthy and him having that power type season. Manny being healthy. Like, that's what it is. We'll see what Miguel Andujar can provide. Gavin Sheets, is he going to turn back into White Sox Gavin Sheets or is he going to be 2025 Gavin Sheets? Like, a lot of it, and some people want the external additions like a Reese Hoskins or like a Goldschmidt before he signed back with the Yankees. But really, at the end of the day, like, look at the lineup that we have. You're not able to move anything there or get replacements there. They're under contract. This is just what the lineup is. And those guys have to come through. Like, they came through offensively. They've done it before, whether it be 2022 for, that run or in 2024 up until the 24 scoreless innings. Like, there were times where they did do it. Can they do it in 2026 in October in the wild card round where it's a best of 3, it's a small sample size, and you're going to get the other team's best? Can you come through? And you talk about Merrill's home run. Yeah, felt like the game was already over. Like, solo home run, felt like the game was already over. I know that there was a rally there at the end and Bogart struck out looking, and that was a bad call by the umpire. But, like, there were opportunities to come through before then, and they didn't. And I know there were some Cubs pitchers that, yeah, they're tough to face, but that's going to be every single team come playoff time. They have their top arms. They're going to use their top arms, just like we are. So I think with our top arms, you're not going to have to score a ton of runs. Like, that's the good thing. But, yeah, you're right. Like, the goose eggs, that can't happen. Top 3 in the lineup can't go over because that happened in game 1 and game 3, and they lost both of them. No coincidence there.
Yeah. I have 2 free agents that I think we should sign. One of them is probably unrealistic though. It's Zach Littell, which I don't think we're gonna do. Not thinking about it because he's
Yeah,
gonna
how much
command
money?
too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eric
like
Fetty,
he might
6
he might get
million.
like 15 mil.
How
I
much?
don't know, 15 million maybe
That
like
would have to be
12
a
to
multi,
15.
but I could see him get more than 6 from a team. And I just don't know how much money the Padres are willing to commit to a starting pitcher. And at this point, again, like, I just go back to, why not just try? You have the best pitching coach in baseball. You have some really good starters that can help someone you bring in. Why not you just bring in someone on a minor league deal that doesn't get the money that they want? And then you can offer incentives. You can offer and get them up to $1 million or something in their contract if they make a certain amount of starts in the big leagues, if they get called up. Like, you can put that stuff in the contract, but have the base of it ultimately be a minor league deal, invite to spring training, go compete for a spot.
Yeah, and the second guy, I think you might like because you've been talking about like a left-handed power bat. What about like Nathaniel Lowe? Because I don't think he'll cost more than like maybe a couple million. And he's not like a Jordan Alvarez, obviously, but he does have some power, and he is left-handed. And I think that could be an interesting signing for us.
Has he signed anywhere? He just signed.
I
Yeah,
don't think
he
so.
signed. Yeah, because on Spot Track I didn't see him. Nathaniel Lowe agreed to a minor league deal with the Reds today. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like you could have got him from a minor league deal, or maybe you could have got him for $1 million because maybe that would have been better than the Reds option.
Oh,
So
dang, that
like you can
sucks.
get guys for minor league deals. It feels like, yeah, you're gonna have to pay them, but offer the minor league deal, see what happens, because that would have been nice to have. That would have been a Gavin Sheets possibility for 2026. But yeah, so he's already gone.
Dang. Well, at this point, I think isn't Rowdy Tellez still a free agent? Because
I have
at
no
this
idea.
point, I'll
Yeah,
take anybody that's a
he's
left-hander.
not on here on the list, but let me check. Rowdy Tellez, he's probably signed
Because
somewhere. Um, the Mariners DFA'd him last year. He's going to be on Team Mexico. I'm not seeing him with a team right now. Yeah, I think he's still a free agent. So I guess, yeah, that could be an option.
and I'm pretty sure Jesse Winker's also a free agent.
No, thank you. Yeah, with all due respect to Jesse, there are things in the clubhouse like, is that going to work? Jesse Winker is not a fan favorite in that clubhouse amongst those Padres players, at least based on what's happened in the what has happened in the past. So yeah, I don't think it's worth bringing in Jesse Winker. Castellanos,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a problem with Padres players, you know, like that's more of
It,
a what the heck happened in Philly? What are you doing? But with the Padres, you know, this second chance, like you can't mess up. So that's where I'm like, yeah, might as well take the chance. He would cost you nothing.
yeah. At this point, I think we were gonna like do something or try to get Castellanos. It would have been before we signed Andujar, because like if we add Castellanos, that
He's a D.
makes the roster very, very unbalanced.
Yes. Yep. And I mentioned that yesterday, I think, in the video. Yeah, like it would make you very right-handed. Yep. But can you survive to be right-handed for the first month of the season and see what Castellanos can give you? And if it doesn't work, then you bring in a left-handed back. And sometimes these situations work themselves out. Like Andujar could get hurt in the first month of the season or in spring training. Same with Gavin Sheets. Like I know he's a lefty bat, but someone can get hurt and then it solves your situation pretty quickly and pretty easily. So I feel like you just give Castellanos the shot. If you have to go righty heavy for a little bit, then you do it. And then if it comes a point in time where you're getting beat because you don't have that lefty bat, then you can make a decision. But for me, I'm like, don't regret not taking the shot to bring Castellanos in and see what happens. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. I don't I don't know what AJ Preller's gonna do. It's interesting because like there's more to it than just we don't have like the budget. It's because AJ Preller's not even signed to an extension yet. Like we don't know what's going on. So like we don't know how much money we have. We don't know. We partially know what's going on with the ownership, but we really don't know. So like we want AJ Preller to go out and get these guys, but he might not even be able to get anybody at this point because I don't know what we're gonna do. This team is very wishy washy. It could go really badly, or it can go really well. Like I don't think there's somewhat of a middle ground, but like I don't. This team is just so confusing to me sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we kind of went into the season with that as well last year. There's when you have financial unflexibility, you have limits, and there's the ownership situation, and there's just a lot of locked in contracts. Like, yeah, there's going to be question marks. There was question marks, I think, last year going into the rotation, into the season with, you know, regarding the rotation. Um, that's just the way that it's going to be. But I like the roster more right now than I did last year, I think. At least position player wise. Like, obviously, I like Ramon Laureano more than having Jason Hayward out there in left field and Connor Joe, you know? Like, the catching situation. Maldonado, I know Schilt talked about Maldonado like he was Albert Pujols or Johnny Bench, but like right now, having Fermin and having Campy, I think Fermin's the upgrade, and with Campy, I'm excited to see what he can do, and at least we're going to finally give him the shot, is what it seems like. Bullpen wise, you know, it's one of the strongest bullpens in baseball. Like that's just what we have Mason Miller for the entire season. Like that's going to be awesome. So there are question marks, yeah, but I would say I feel a little bit better about where the roster is now in comparison to where it was last year.
Yeah, don't even get me started on left field last year at the start of the year, because I went to the Tigers Padres game against when we faced Jack Flaherty. It was the Nick Pivetta start. We had Oscar Gonzalez playing
Yeah,
left field.
good pull. Yeah, I forgot about
He
Oscar.
was so bad. He had to go to
Jeez
Japan.
Louise. Yeah.
Like, oh my good God. I watched Elias Diaz hit a 2-run bomb, and that was the only thing both teams did.
Yeah.
I couldn't even. I was sitting with my parents. I was like, if we don't get a left fielder or somebody that can play left field besides Oscar Gonzalez, we're not going anywhere. I don't remember one thing he did the entire season. I don't remember a single hit he did.
I
I don't
forgot
remember
he was on
anything
the
he
team.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we had Tirso, Connor Joe,
Yep.
who I forgot about too. I think he went to the Reds after that or something. Who else? We had Jason Hayward, Oscar
Hayward.
Gonzalez. I feel like we put Sheets out there at some point because it was getting so
Yeah.
bad.
Crashed
I
into the
feel like we
wall.
put
Yep.
someone else. Oh, I remember, oh my God. He
I was
crashed
at
into
that
the
game.
wall. Was it like an imprint of Sheets in the wall and he like
Yeah, I
was
think
hurt?
so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. But
I
yeah,
think they
I have.
marked it on the wall after. Like they had fun with it. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
All right, I have one more thing and then I'm gonna go. How do you feel the next year's CBA is gonna go? Like, how do you like the salary cap? Personally, I don't. Do you want a salary floor? Like, what do you think is gonna be like?
I want a salary floor, but not a cap. Like I don't want to penalize teams for trying to win because that's what you're supposed to do. And I think teams should, at minimum, try to win. With a certain amount on their payroll. But if there's a salary floor, there's going to be a cap probably because the Rockies and teams like that would barely be at the floor. They would say if you're making us spend a certain amount of money, you got to cap the others. Then, if you're trying to make competitive balance here, then you got to balance it out. You got to cap the Dodgers. Then you got to cap the Yankees and those teams if you want us to spend a certain amount of money because it's not fair. So they bring that into it. They'd probably make the argument like, hey, more money's going to be spent on players if there is a floor. So you got to make a cap because money will balance out. Players will still get the money that they're going to get anyway. So it's going to be very hard to beat the players though. Like to put in, because the players have the argument. I was reading Bruce Meyer the other day, I think in The Athletic from Evan Drellich. He was saying that the players still have a strong argument because even with the no payroll cap, it's not like the World Series is won by the same team every year. I know the Dodgers have won back-to-back, but you go back and you look at 2023, you look at 2022, you look at 2021. Like, it's not like it's the same team winning. You have the Rangers winning the World Series. You have the Nats winning in 2019. You have the Red Sox winning. Yankees they spent a bunch of money. They haven't won since 2009. Like, those are arguments that the player side will use and say, there's no salary cap. And look, you don't know who's going to win the World Series going into each season. Owners would bring up the Dodgers and what's happening now, but there's a large sample size that the players can bring up and the Players Association can bring up to help them. So there's going to be a lockout. I don't know how many games they're going to miss, but yeah, it's not. There's going to be negotiating in the media, just like there was in 2021. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I am on the player side. I want a salary floor.
Yeah.
Because like you said, even though we all hate the Dodgers and they're spending a lot of money, we can't get mad at them for spending the money that they earn and spending the money on the players because they built the ultimate destination. We hate them, but they did what they're supposed to do. They spent the money and they've won two back-to-back championships.
Yeah,
We
it's
like
not fair.
the Marlins have to spend money. Like,
right. It's
you
not fair.
can't
Like
blame the Dodgers.
Yeah, their situation is not fair to even us, for example. But they can't, like, we can't control that. The league can't control that. Like, good for the Dodgers for doing what they can do with the resources that they have. It's not going to be fair with every team. The local TV deals, like, it's just not fair. But the Dodgers, what they could do is pocket the money, all the way much more money they're getting than other teams like the Padres, they could pocket it and be like, we're good. We just won the World Series. We're good. No, they went out and signed Edwin Diaz. Like they made moves to keep getting better. And like that should be applauded because you're doing what, like our fan base in that same position, we would want our team to be spending money and trying to win. So yeah, it sucks that we're not in that situation, but they're doing what they should be doing when they have that money. That's just what it is.
Yeah, and my main argument is baseball isn't football. It's like with football, if there wasn't a salary cap, let's say the Eagles went out and signed Patrick Mahomes, then they got Saquon Barkley, then they got DK Metcalf or whoever the best receiver, JSN. That football, there's less parity, there's less games, and in football, if one player is stronger, faster, whatever than the other player, that player is going to win 9, 10 times out of 10. With baseball, say you put Mason Miller against Lourdes Gurriel like last year. Mason Miller might throw 104, and the metrics say he's going to strike out everybody. But like last year, Lourdes Gurriel hit a bomb off him off a 104 pitch. Like baseball, it has more parity. Like it's not the same. Like you could have a Vlad Guerrero Jr., but he's not going to hit a home run every time. Like baseball is unique in that way. And if we add a salary cap, not only is it going to take away money from the players, it's going to make what baseball is unique. Like baseball, it's going to take that away from it. It's going to take the uniqueness away from it. Like baseball, I think is one of or the only sport that does not have a salary cap. And like you said, teams don't, unless you're the Dodgers or the Yankees back in the day, you don't win a World Series every single year because it's not an 18-game season. It's 162. Every game is different. So it's just not everything happens the way we expect it to happen in baseball.
Yeah, I agree. Good points.
All right, well, I'm gonna head out. Have a good night.
No, thank you, David. Appreciate it. That was good. Good conversation there. All right, let's get back to the chat. Thank you to another partner of the show, Breaking Tea. They've got Padres and Aztec shirts and sweatshirts. Click the link in the description for them. Also, SeatGeek, Talking Friars is the code. $20 off your first order when you sign up with your email. All right, let's go to JD's third. Ben having an elite closer and bullpen is like having a Ferrari and leaving it parked in the garage. There's no good when you score 5 runs in the last 51 playoff innings. Well, look, what is AJ Preller supposed to do? Not have an elite bullpen? Like he's trying to make the best team that he can. And so he's making an elite bullpen. And he has some elite players on the team. They've got to perform. And there are players that are under long-term contracts that you're not moving and they're in the lineup and you just need them to play better. Like they brought a new coaching staff and maybe that'll work. Maybe there's some things that they can work on with these players that'll improve it. But yeah, like I get what you're saying, but then it's like, well, man, what do you want him to do then? The bullpen does no good when you score 5 runs in the last 51 playoff innings. So just don't have a good bullpen then? Like, I don't understand that. So thank you for the super chat, JD's third. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. You've been one of the longest supporters. Always there. Much appreciated. But I kind of disagree with that there. All right. Let's get to the rest of the chat here. Littell's being brought up. I mean, what is he going to cost more than Eric Fetty at $6 million? Are the Padres going to pay that? Because right now I don't have much confidence they're going to pay a starting pitcher. EB says, I genuinely feel bad for the Padres. It's like Padres as a child watching all the spoiled kids open their Christmas presents and all you get is a toy from the clearance section. Yes. But in past years, the Padres have been the spoiled kid. Like Padre fans have been spoiled in previous off seasons when Peter was here. He's not here. But we have been in that, and it's awesome to be in that, right? Like the Dodgers, I didn't even mention Kyle Tucker earlier. I said Edwin Diaz first. But yeah, like the Dodgers have been that every year, it seems like, and they're going to continue. The Blue Jays have been pretty spoiled recently. The Padres had that run, and now they have contracts that are locked in, and hopefully we'll be spoiled when the season starts and we're watching these players be elite because they can be. And can they do it in October when it matters the most, right? Like that's the golden question. Doesn't matter what Gallen went for. All decent pitchers are going elsewhere. Padres can't afford anyone good. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Alfonso says, I don't think the Padres anybody wants to go to the Padres. I disagree on that. Money's a big factor in it. Like, I'm sure Zac Gallen would have been fine coming to the Padres if the money was there. I'm sure people want to live in San Diego, work with Ruben Niebla. Like, it's not bad. But if a team's going to offer you $20+ million and the Padres offer you $5, what are you going to take? Right? And I'm just throwing that number out there. I don't know if the Padres actually offered Gallen anything, but I'm just saying. James says we have plenty of options at starter to get us to the trade deadline. I would think so, but there's a difference between starters and reliable starters, and starters you're confident in. And right now that list is 4. You'd like it to be 5. And maybe it will be 5 at some point. But injuries can also happen to the rotation where that number dwindles down further than what it's at. The Friars are broke. I mean, they have a high payroll, so they're not broke, but in terms of additions that they need to still make, yeah, you could say that. Yeah. When is this new owner going to come in? It would be nice to do it immediately. James says Musgrove, Pavetta, King, Hart, Waldron, Sears is another one I kind of forgot. Jackson Wolf, Miguel Mendez, Tristan McKenzie, plenty to get us to the deadline. Didn't mention Marco Gonzalez. Like, he's another guy. Did you mention Randy Vasquez? Didn't mention Randy Vasquez. That's definitely an option. Like Dominican Yu Darvish. So, yes, there are options, but he'd probably like someone else, kind of like the Marco Gonzalez type that maybe pitched last year and, has that major league experience. EB says Bogart's contract is rearing its ugly head. If they had 25+ mil available, they could add some decent talent, but they are tied to these massive, atrocious contracts. Yep. We can keep banging on that drum, but nothing's going to change. So, all right, let's see. Anything else here? JD's third says move Manny or Nando. Come on. What are we doing? DM310MD says, Ben, how do you feel about AJ not getting an extension yet? I think that he knows he has leverage. And whether it's money or getting Josh Stein to be named general manager under him, like there are things he could want raises for staff underneath him. It's not all about Preller. We don't know. So, or maybe Preller wants to see who becomes the new owner and what's the relationship going to be like there. Because why lock yourself in if you're not going to like the owner that you're reporting to? What if the owner gives Grutner more power or the same power? And Preller doesn't like that. Things can change under new ownership. And it can feel like not the same thing that you were in. So Preller can wait. Like, I don't think he's in a rush here. He did say yesterday, we'll see what happens here in the next couple days. So is it literally a couple days? Like, does he know something's about to get done? Or is he just saying that to say that? But yeah, if I were him, I'd probably wait till new ownership comes in. Like, unless he knows that John loves him and wants to give him an extension, and it's just like a money thing or something in the like. There's a lot of things that you can put into a contract if you're AJ. Maybe he wants a basketball hoop on the concourse. I'm kidding, but like there's small things in here that players ask for that take some time. He can ask for things in a contract. So we don't know. We don't know what's happening there. I think he wants to be here. I think he wants to finish the job, but If he's not wanted as much as he wants to be here, then other teams will gladly take him. Can we stop calling him Campy? That's an insult to the real Campy, Roy Campanella. No, I'm going to call him Campy. Sorry. That's his nickname. I'm going to call him Campy. Yeah, Ocean View Coffee Shop says D-backs are dangerous with Gallen. Yeah, they sure can be. JD's third with another super chat. Appreciate it. Ben, why is Stammen allowing Nando to wear sweatpants and Manny to bring his infant son to spring training? They're treating him like friends, not managers. Okay, this is an old man take. I don't know how old you are, JD's third, but this is a get off my lawn take. Position players don't have to, position players, they haven't started their workouts yet, their official team workout yet. You don't have to be in your full spring training practice gear. You can wear whatever you want. You're taking batting practice and you're running on the warning track. Let's chill out, okay? I saw Nando's back with Under Armour, by the way. Yeah, I think he had those lime green Curries on today. I like Under Armour. Don't have a problem. I think they've screwed up Curry not wanting to be there, but Bryce is still there. They've got some big athletes that are still with Under Armour. So, interesting because Tatis, he's known for those customized Nike Jordan cleats. So will he be Under Armour? I saw people saying he was with Under Armour last year. And I'm like, why was he wearing all those customized cleats then? But as for the Nando sweatpants thing, you're allowed to do that. The workouts haven't started. The official workouts have not started. And Manny bringing his infant son to spring training. He's taking batting practice on a backfield. Okay? He just got there. He's the face of the franchise. He's the captain of the team. You think Craig Stammen's going to say, no, you can't have your son there while you're taking batting practice? It's a chill, relaxed environment. Stammen would not be getting off to a good start if he were to say, no, you can't bring your baby onto the field while you take BP. Get out of here. Come on. Let's be better. I appreciate the super chat, but that's a dumb comment. You're worried about the wrong thing if you're worried about that. Yeah, I know. Caesar says, come on, Castellanos, just 1 year. And it would be a prove-it year. He could go get some money if he ends up doing the right things and performing, being on a contending team. Let's see. EB says, finally, Ben says the most important thing, players have to perform. No batting coach is going to teach seasoned players how to hit or see a ball. They're professionals and know angles and speed. Yeah, look, the hitting coach's job is to make sure the players are confident going into the box. So preparation, motivation, instilling confidence, whatever it needs to be, that's pretty much their job. They can't control what the hitter actually does on the field, right? They're trying to prepare him. All right. Oh, last one. Jason says, Padres are not an attractive team to sign with. I disagree. Would a player want to go sign with the Dodgers if they want to go win? Sure. But if you sign a minor league deal with the Dodgers, what's the chances that you're going to go be an impactful player on that team with the amount of depth that they have? With the Padres, you could get a minor league deal. You can get an incentive deal. And then you could go make the team if you compete and you pitch well. And then go get a big contract because you just played well for the Padres in the rotation this past year. Or, if you're going into the 2026-27 offseason, let's say. So I think really it's about opportunity. And there's an opportunity for a starter to come in here and go win a job. So saying they're not an attractive team to sign with, I disagree. Are there other attractive teams to sign with? Yeah, but the Padres I would put in that category of being an attractive team to sign with. All right. Thank you, everyone, for the time. Much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night or a great Saturday or a great weekend whenever you're listening to this. The Padres have missed out on Zac Gallen. They missed out on Chris Bassett. It doesn't look like they're going to spend on starting pitching. Are they going to spend on a bat? Are they going to spend any significant amount of money on anybody else? We shall see.
You already know what's up. What's that? Another home run. We should know the job ain't done.